And then how do you think that pigs are killed?
With a lullaby.
I would definitely call it more of a systemic issue.
I could just eat like a banana, like 10 bananas, and that would be sustenance, but I choose to eat a burger. Yeah, and that's for my sensory pleasure.
It's okay to walk up to a person and punch them in the head if it gives you sensory pleasure.
No, that's not okay.
I don't think so. No. Yeah, no.
It's okay to punch a pillow if it gives you sensory pleasure.
Yes.
Yeah, that seems fine.
It's okay to walk up to a dog and punch them in the head if it gives you sensory pleasure.
No.
No.
Okay.
No, definitely not, yeah.
It's okay to walk up to a pig and punch them in the head if it gives you sensory pleasure.
No.
Also no.
No.
Okay, so none of them.
No,
All right.
that's an intriguing question.
Okay.
Yeah, I like, yeah, okay, yeah, no,
right.
But no for me.
Okay, good. That's a no. All right. So we got 3 no's, 1 yes. What is the difference there? Why is it okay to punch the pillow, but it's not okay to punch the dog, the pig, or the person?
Because the pillow doesn't feel pain.
I think sentience is important. And then, now I'm thinking about all the food that I just ate that was meat. So maybe I'm not as cautious about sentient beings as I should be.
Because my pillow isn't breathing. It's not like a living thing. It can't sense pain. I guess that's the biggest thing. I don't know if pigs can probably sense pain, but I know some animals don't. So, but still, Still, I don't think if it's life, then I don't think you should be beating the shit out of it.
Right.
Yeah, having something that is alive and feels emotions feels like something that we shouldn't harm, just for our personal sensory pleasure.
The questions are going to get a little bit harder now.
Okay.
Not factually harder, but they may be emotionally harder. So
Okay.
just setting up.
I'm
Yeah.
intrigued.
You can eject at any point if you're like, I feel uncomfortable. That's
Okay.
fine. Do you purchase or consume any sort of products that are made from animals?
Well, as far as meat, yes.
You said that, you were just eating, I assume, animal products of some sort?
Yeah, super, definitely.
Okay.
Just had a yummy burger.
Okay, so you just ate a burger, right? What would you say the primary reason that you ate that burger was?
For sensory pleasure.
So do you purchase or consume any sort of animal products?
Yeah, I do. I do. Yes, yeah, exactly. That's why I think the question was intriguing. I know where this is going. Yes, I do.
So I assume you eat meat, eggs,
Yes,
dairy,
I do.
all those things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the primary reason that you eat those things?
Sustenance.
Sustenance is the main one?
Yeah.
So is sensory pleasure any part of it?
Of my mouth, yeah, my sense of taste. Yeah, I guess
Okay.
that is sensory pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're right. I could just eat like a banana, like 10 bananas, and that would be sustenance, but I choose to eat a burger. Yeah, and that's for my sensory pleasure. That's true. Yeah. I'm a horrible person.
What would you say the reason that you're eating those individuals is?
Whenever I stop and think about it, I realize that yes, these things are bad. Factory farming is terrible. But I mean, in reality, these things are usually so far removed from my day-to-day life that I just don't think about it.
Are there any other reasons that you ate that food?
Yeah, I think there's convenience and protein, and also some the context that we're in. I was excited about going to this place and ordering those things, but I would say convenience and honestly not a lot of mindfulness.
We have sort of convenience, and then you said protein as well, and then lack of mindfulness. Let's start protein first. That's the easy one. Do you think you can get protein without eating animal products?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Okay. Do you think it's super hard to get enough protein while not eating animal products?
No. Okay. Yeah, it seems fine, and honestly cheaper in sometimes, and yeah.
When you do think about it, though, do you think that you're causing them unnecessary suffering for your sensory pleasure? Would you say that's essentially the situation we have?
Most likely, yes.
So then I guess I would kind of ask the same question. If for some reason, there were a dog walking by and it was for some reason convenient for you to punch it in the head, maybe you had to punch it in the head so that you could get somewhere quicker, right? Would that convenience justify harming an individual?
Yeah, no. In all honesty, it's so removed from me, and the pain that we cause animals that we eat is so incredibly removed. So I think it's convenience in my consumer actions, and would feel differently if I was the one doing those actions.
I would definitely call it more of a like systemic issue. So I feel like if you wanted to move people away from like eating meat that's produced from animals, you would need to start like systemically instead of on an individual basis.
So yeah, I totally agree with you. Systemic change is important, I think, in pretty much everything. But I also do think individual change is important. So for instance, if you were to stop consuming animal products, how many animals do you think roughly that you would spare a year?
That's the thing, I'm not sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I wasn't either. So the estimates vary pretty widely, but it's anywhere from around 30 to 600. So the way I think about it is, if there were 30 dogs here or 30 pigs here, right? And I said to you, hey, you can eat whatever you want for this year, but I'm going to walk up to those pigs and punch them in the head. I'm going to castrate them without anesthetic, and I'm going to throw them into gas chambers. Would you let me do that to those 30 pigs so you could eat whatever you wanted for 1 year?
No, because I mean, within the confines of like this scenario, I have all the power to make this systemic change.
But in this case, again, if you really stopping eating meat save 30 animals per year, it's 30 animals per year regardless, right? Whether they're right there or whether they're spread out, all over the country. What do you think happens to dairy cows?
I know that they like forcibly impregnate cows to like produce that milk, and I can only imagine that the living conditions are not great.
So when that cow has a baby, can we give that cow all the mother's milk?
Yeah, probably definitely not.
So what happens to the baby?
Oh my gosh, veal?
If it's a male, yeah, that's right. If it's a male, they take it away from the mother, and the mother will actually run after the babies because cows are very maternal, and so they will run and like bellow and cry after the babies. And you're correct. The male will get turned into veal, essentially. And if it's a female?
I probably become a like milk cow as well, or kill them too.
Yeah. So with females, the cycle will just continue of forcible impregnation, stealing the baby, and with males, they'll just get killed. Very specifically, like what do you think happens to them? Like a pig, for instance.
Like they kept in CAFOs, right? Like where they grow up and they're raised like in like 3-foot cells. Or 3-foot like pens their whole life, and they're just kept there, and a lot of them don't even have time to like walk or develop the skill to walk because they're just stuck there. I think it's messed up.
Do you know what happens to pigs?
I super don't know. No idea.
I didn't either, and it's pretty crazy. So we'll rip out their teeth, we'll cut off their tails, we'll castrate them, and oftentimes these things are done without anesthetic. Do you know why we would rip out their teeth and cut off their tails? Do you have any idea?
I can only assume that it like makes them less aggressive or easy to handle.
That's pretty close. So when you cram animals together, oftentimes they become aggressive, as you say, and they'll bite each other. Specifically, they'll bite off each other's tails, or in the case of chickens, they'll like peck each other to death. Right. And so we remove the things that create that problem. So that's why we take
barriers.
Yeah, exactly. And then do you know how we kill them? Like pigs, for instance?
How?
So about 80 to 90% of the time, depending on the country that you're in, they will be put into a gas chamber.
So a gas chamber? So like, does it kill them instantly?
No, very much not.
Very slow death?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so bad. Why wouldn't they just... God,
it's cheaper to put them through a gas chamber very quickly.
Yeah.
Pigs don't walk in a single file like cows. Cows oftentimes they'll do a bolt gun to the head, but because pigs won't walk in a single file, it's easier to get them in gas chambers.
Good thing I don't eat pork.
In my 11th grade English class, we read Fast Food Nation by Eric Schlosser, and he really delved into like how awful all of these things are, as well as like the treatment of the animals. He also talked about how like the people who work in these plants are treated. And like factory farming isn't just bad for animals, it's also like horrific for the people who have to work there.
Do you know why a cow produces milk?
For their children. Yeah. And then we take well, like why don't humans drink the milk of their own kind? Yeah. Why do they drink cow milk? And even then, that would be so weird if they did drink the milk of their own kind, right? So like, why do we drink cow milk? Yeah. It's so weird, man.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
The cow has to be pregnant, so how do we get the cow pregnant?
Yeah. A word that I don't want to say on camera, like.
Yeah. What they call it in the business is artificial insemination.
Okay.
But yeah, right. There's another word that we might call that when that cow is not consenting to have that done, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so we do that, and then the baby can't have all the cow's milk, obviously, because then we couldn't sell it, right? So we have to take the baby away.
Yeah.
If it's a male cow, what do you think happens to them?
They become meat.
And if it's a female cow, what do you think happens to them?
they just produce milk for. It's kind of like war if you think about it, right? Like with humans too. I mean, whenever humans conquer, they kill the men, and then they, you know.
Yeah.
We do the same to our own kind, I think.
And is it good that we do that to our kind?
No, not at all. Not at all. Just saying, like, the implications of like just that like power structure, I guess. I don't know.
And then how do you think that pigs are killed?
With a lullaby, they're like sung softly to sleep.
That's
I don't know.
That's right. Yeah, you got it. Damn, you did know more. Somewhere between 80 and 90% of pigs are actually put into gas chambers.
Haven't heard gas chambers and since World War II history. Did not know that. And yeah, I see that. The little bit that I know about the way that they kill cows, and this is like secondhand from a friend, I cannot cite the source, I probably shouldn't even be saying it to the camera, but I know that like there is some ethical tech out there hoping to like put cows on specific conveyor belts that like reduce that type of like mental stress at like end of life situation. And I can assume that technology is not widespread yet.
Let me ask you this. Let's think that we have sort of the best case scenario, right? We have a really good farm, treats their animals super well, and then we drive the cow to the slaughterhouse and put a bolt gun in its head, right? Is that ethical? Is there a good way to kill an individual that doesn't want to die?
I think my mind can change on this. And I've thought a bit about this question, and right now, I think like part of me is stuck in that like this is the way the world has always worked situation, which might not even be true. And right now I think there is a way to like and a reason to kill an animal that doesn't want to live. And I think a massive reduction is in order. And honestly, the times where it's ethically sound to do so are so far and few between that it's probably easier to say no than to like actually fabricate a time that it is okay. Imagine
that we get done this interview, right? You had a generally good life. You go to walk away. And as you're walking away, I shoot you in the head.
I did not consent to that.
You never
saying. Super not there. Just put that on the record, okay?
We'll edit that out. You never said that. Would you say that what I had done is ethical there?
No. Definitely not.
Maybe not, when you're sitting back and you're not thinking about it, that's one thing. But when you sit down and actually think about it, do you feel like sort of purchasing those products goes against the values that you as an individual already have?
But the problem is usually it's in scenarios where I'm like, these products aren't right in front of me. I'm just sitting there thinking about, I don't know, and these sort of things come up.
Do you think that you'll think about it more after this conversation?
For sure.
What do you think like the biggest barrier for you would be to sort of ceasing to purchase those products?
I think as far as like this problem as well as a lot of other problems in the world, at a systemic level, you need to make the right option the easiest option.
Yeah, no, I totally agree that changing the systems and lowering barriers would definitely make it easier for individuals to make that choice. But I'm going to put you on the spot a little, because the question I asked was what would be stopping you personally from doing it, rather than like what is a strategy that we might use. Like when you go into the grocery store, you can pick up the lentils or the beans or the soy, right? And you choose to pick up the steak. What do you think is the biggest thing holding you back from not picking up the steak?
Probably having, again, just alternatives, because unfortunately as a person who has lived through the 21st century, I mean, I do like the taste of meat. And of course there are like alternatives now, but I don't know. I feel like at the most basic level, I mean, like most people, when I am like in the supermarket or say here in the dining halls, I don't want to think, I just go for whatever's the easiest choice.
It is one, more cost effective to get the nutrients that is needed to sustain yourself, that rather than being like vegan. I think that a lot of it is like, if you're in a third world country, like you kind of have to be eating meat to get the amount of nutrients, I think, that's needed, all the amino acids, really, because like you can find it in non-animal products, but I think it's harder.
Are you in a third world country though?
No, not at all. Not at all. I can definitely sustain with veganism.
I think again it's the convenience. Like there's so much I can do, right? Having convenient, easy, and like satiating vegan options and low cost, because I know in general it's low cost when you make it. And right now where I'm at as a student, and like a lot of this is like I have autonomy, like I could actually do this if I wanted to. And what's easiest for me now is like to purchase the food that has meat that is less expensive and more convenient. I think that's what's holding me back. And there are like times in my life, there are like stretches in my life that I've like not eaten animal products. The convenience tipped a little and I'm on board with the ethics.
I will tell you something. I actually, if you do go to my channel after this, I have a video called Veganism is 10 times cheaper, sort of.
No way.
And I actually address this exact issue of how much nutrients you get for a dollar. And if you look at things like lentils and beans, the nutrients per dollar on almost every nutrient is much cheaper to get from lentils and beans than it is from like beef or chicken. There's actually been a couple studies done too, like I think 4. One study showed that eating plant-based costs about $1 more a week, and all of the other 3 studies, which are all peer-reviewed, showed that it was cheaper.
Wow.
Some of them even showed 30% cheaper. What do you value more? Fleeting sensory pleasure or the life and suffering of an individual?
In most scenarios, in like every scenario, I value like the life and well-being of individuals over like my own pleasure if it causes other individuals pain. But again, that thought process is so removed from everyday choices.
The life of a being, definitely, hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think the first few questions that you started off with were really cool. Very engaging. Yeah.
Next, what has more value? Your convenience or the life and suffering of an individual?
Well, my actions beg to differ on my answer. I'd like to say I value animal rights and such more. And my actions beg to differ.
So if you enjoyed this video and want to help me make this my full-time career, check out my Patreon in the description. And a special shout out to my top tier patrons, Ryan O'Neill and Tom Eisenbeis.